So now I have finished placing my prickly Velcro on my shirt. There's a 1-inch piece on the outside shoulder there, and there's another 1-inch piece on the outside shoulder on the left, and I have 2 Velcro pieces right here on the waist that are 2 inches. Now, to place the corresponding soft Velcro, I'm going to flip the shirt over, and I will immediately place 2 1-inch soft Velcro pieces on the back shoulder tabs, which I call the bunny ears because they remind me of little bunny ears. And it's a good idea to remember that the bunny ears always get the soft Velcro piece on the soft side. You're always placing soft Velcro onto the flannel side of the shirt. You will never have a soft Velcro piece on the front side. And every tab only gets 1 piece of Velcro. So if you already have a piece of Velcro on the front, then you're obviously not going to put a piece of Velcro on the back, because what's going to happen is that when the shirt is folded over, the front piece has its Velcro, and then the back shoulder tab comes over the baby's shoulder, and it's going to attach to the prickly Velcro that you placed. So there is a logic to it if you think about it. The next thing I'm going to do is take my shirt and fold it in half. And I'm just going to take a clover clip and place it at the end of each prickly Velcro. Maybe if I turn this red side up, you can see it better. So here are my 2 prickly Velcros, and here are the clover clips. And now I'll just take the corresponding soft Velcro and clip it under the clover clip. Just like that. So now those are placed and ready to go, and when the shirt is closed, those will line up. Keep in mind that when I place those, they're behind or beneath the top stitching from the front of the shirt. They don't extend to the edge of the shirt or past the top stitching. They are parallel with the bottom of the shirt and parallel to one another. I can just fit my finger right in between the 2. So to start sewing these on, I'm at my machine. I have it loaded with the cotton Gutermann thread, and I have my stitch length set at about, I would say, 10 to 12 stitches per inch, not larger than that. And I'm going to zoom in on my needle a bit so perhaps you can see it better. Let's see if I can get that. I'm not exactly centered here. Let's see. That might work if I don't hit the camera. It's very tricky to sew with a camera between you and the machine, let me tell you. It's not my favorite. Okay, so I've lined up the edge of the Velcro with the edge of my presser foot right there. So it's going to ride along the inner aspect of my open toe foot. Again, I'm going to position my machine to stop with the needle down. And I placed it in my machine so that I'm starting to sew about 3/4 of the way down. And I'm going to hold my top thread. It's also placed under the presser foot. That's going to prevent me from getting a wad of thread on the underside of the shirt, or what would actually be the cotton side. So I'm starting to sew, and what I'd like to do before I go further is move my needle over one position. So here's my needle right now, right there. Now I'm going to move it over one. Do you see it pop over? Now that really will put my stitching on the edge of the Velcro strip, which is where I want it. If you have the stitching too far inside the Velcro strip, it places a lot of tension on the fabric when you open and close the shirt. And the soft Velcro is what really gets the work out, because it's really stuck to those prickles. And when you open the shirt, you'll see that the prickly Velcro stays in place, but you're really peeling this soft Velcro off of it. So we want to make sure that we're stitching this Velcro down in a very secure manner. Some people like to use a zigzag stitch, but I don't, because I don't like the look of it on the front of the shirt. So I always stitch my soft Velcro down with a straight stitch, and it just has a more pleasing and more professional look to me. But that's obviously my personal feeling, and there's no 25-and-4 regulation that says you have to do one or the other. So it is up to you. I would recommend, if you're going to do a zigzag stitch on the front, like on these long pieces, and really any soft Velcro the bobbin stitching shows on the right side of the shirt, I would have a bobbin that blends with the main fabric of the shirt, because it's quite obvious if it's a contrasting thread. When it's a straight stitch, I don't mind the contrast so much, but there's just something about the zigzag stitch I'm not that fond of if it doesn't match. All right, so now I've gone diagonally across my shirt, and I've back stitched a little bit. And now I'm just going to drag the shirt over to the piece next to the first one. And I'm going to put the foot down. And I don't really have to secure the top thread too much because I haven't cut the thread. I'm just traveling to the next piece. And the reason I do that is so that I don't have to fuss pulling the bobbin thread up, and I won't get any of that nesting on the right side of the shirt if it's connected to the other piece for a bit. So I will go all the way around this, and at this point I could cut this thread so that it's not in my way, at least on the top, because it served its purpose and it secured the thread for me to get started. So I stop with my needle down, turn the shirt, put my presser foot down, sew across. It's usually about 5 stitches to get across, sometimes 6, depending on your stitch length. That's about how many stitches it should take. So if you're getting a great variation from that, please adjust your stitch length. And my little tip for when you go across that I actually got from one of my sewers is put a business card from corner to corner and sew along the edge. And that will keep your stitching nice and straight. Now I'm going to lift up my presser foot, and without cutting my thread, I'm going to travel over to one of the shoulder tabs. And I will move my needle to, maybe halfway up or 2/3 of the way up, so that I can just take a couple of stitches till I get to the corner. And then I will turn my shirt and stitch down the length of the Velcro, and at this point now I can cut that thread because it served its purpose of keeping any bunching from happening on the front of the shirt on the bobbin side. It will also save you thread to travel from one Velcro piece to the next rather than cutting it and then starting up again. And I do not recommend, if you have an automatic start-stop on your machine that does a little bit of a knot, that you use that. I don't recommend it because it does actually what we call a little pigtail stitch, and it can make a pokey spot that will stick the baby. So when you're done stitching any of these shirts, you really should run your fingers along the inside and feel what you're putting against the baby's skin, because they're extremely delicate. Now this one I'll start to do on the length instead of the end. It doesn't matter where I start. I just go maybe 4 stitches away from the corner and then turn the shirt. And you see I'm not back stitching because I always go over the first few stitches that I do as I come around. So I'm going to go across, turn, come up the other side, go across, top, turn, and now you see when I come down this side, I'm going over my original stitches, which are right there. Get to the corner, I turn the shirt so I can do my last diagonal stitching. If you want, put a little index card from corner to corner on the Velcro and just sew along that card. It's kind of like using training wheels until you learn to ride the two-wheeler. Use it as long as you want. So now I can take my shirt out of the machine, and I'm going to trim my threads. You have to remember that you have what I call an entry and exit thread on every piece of Velcro. You went into the Velcro at one point and you went out at one point. So all of those threads need to be clipped on both sides of the shirt. You can't have any of your connecting threads remaining. You can't have any loose threads. Sorry, I guess I wasn't in the camera there. Let me pan out again, maybe. Okay. So I'm just clipping where I ended, and this is where I started. And now I flip that over, and I have to clip where I ended and where I started. And here, where I ended and started. Okay. So there's 2 clips of thread for every piece of Velcro. So now I have a shirt that's all completed. And there's my little shirt. Very sweet, cozy, and comfy. So, sweet, safe, and soft. Mission accomplished. The last thing that I'll do is on the inside of my tag, I will take my zebra pen and I will put the size. So I'll do that first before I put it in the pile to be washed. Thanks for watching. Please like the video, give it a thumbs up, thumbs down. In the comments section, please comment on what could be better, tips that you learned, anything to give me some feedback about what you need to know. Happy stitching.